Hello, my creepies, and welcome back to the mortuary. For those of you just stumbling in here, I am ReAnimateHer, the queen of Scream. And today I have a different video for you. This video is basically my thoughts and insights onto Game of Thrones. I am not a huge fan. I'm not going to pretend to be a huge fan of the series. We waited how long to actually watch it? I actually had no interest in a Game of Thrones before. And then Heavy and I were just looking at things to watch on TV because we don't have cable. And it was suggested Game of Thrones. And so we were like, fuck it, let's throw caution to the wind. Let's watch this mother. And we did. And OMG, my God, we binged it. We watched it. We watched several episodes every day. Like, seriously, several episodes every day. What a great series. But before we dive into that, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Hit that like button down below. There's no script today. I am scriptless, so this is just going to be my thoughts. You might hear a couple of fumbles. Doesn't matter. This is just a video explaining what I thought about Game of Thrones. My favorite characters, though, oh Lord, I have several favorite characters, some good, some bad, in the GOT world. I'd love to know, who was your favorite character? Who were you rooting for throughout the GOT series? All the way up to 8. And if you didn't finish 8 and you ended at 6, which most people I know ended at 6, I still want to know, who is your favorite people that you were rooting for? Who did you like on there? Who did you make those connections with? Because I'll tell you right now, I made numerous emotional connections to this TV series. I made connections to many TV series, but this one, I have, you know what I mean? I'll let you guys know who mine are at the end of the video. Oh, we're also going to do chapters in our videos, so then you guys can just click right to the ones that you want to watch. But anyways, okay. I know people have told me about Game of Thrones, and they're like, oh, it's got incest in it, and I'm like, okay, you know, whatever, you know, it's a TV show. I was not prepared. I quite didn't understand the assignment. I thought incest, okay, yeah, whatever. I was not prepared for the amount of fucking incest this TV show had. Like, I looked at Heavy, like, we're watching this, and it comes down to the Lannisters. And I look at him like, what? And then as the story unfolds, how many incest babies there were, nobody prepared me. Everyone's like, oh yeah, there's some incest. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, okay, so incest, boobs. All right, whatever. Nothing prepared me. Nothing. Amazing at the amount of incest. And now the characters of the Lannisters and those that were in this, I can never look at them the same. Yeah. Jamie Lannister. I don't know the actor's name, but he's in numerous movies. Yeah. Oh yeah, I watched this movie. I think it's called The Gods, or Immortal. I don't remember. Anyways, oh, Gods of Egypt. Gods of Egypt. Jamie Lannister plays Horus. I love that movie. I've watched it a million times, and I recently watched it not that long ago, and I'm like, I can't even get it out of my mind. You are a sister fucker. Game of Thrones. Anyways, if you have never seen the series and you're thinking, oh, I might get into it, be prepared for a fuck ton of incest. Fuck ton. The entire thing. Fuck ton. Incest upon more incest. Yes. Yeah. Lots of sex, lots of titties, and I still want to know how they got the grooming materials needed to take care of some of those bushes. If you've seen GOT, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Now, the first season had me enthralled. I was hooked. Not gonna lie. First episode, I was like, okay, let's just give it a little bit, and I did, and I'm glad I did, because you really can't tell how good or bad a series is going to be just from the first episode. So you do have to watch a couple. After that, I was kind of hooked. I was hooked into the storyline. I really enjoyed the storyline. And as we got going further in that storyline, I started making connections with other people in that series. Emotional connection, like rooting for them. Ned Stark, right off the effing bat. My God. I was in love with Ned Stark and the Stark family. I was like, oh, this is awesome. And Baratheon, the king at the point when it started, what a fool. His wife, yeah. The brother, the crazy amount of sex between brother and sister and how many kids, my God, blew my mind. Still blows my mind. But I was so upset when they beheaded Ned Stark. Like, totally upset when they beheaded Ned Stark. Oh, let me repeat. There is spoilers in this. If you have not seen Game of Thrones, then you may not want to watch what I have to say because there is spoilers. Should have said that in the beginning. I was upset. I was like, what? What? When they cut his head off. Joffrey, I never wanted to kill a child as much before as I did when I seen Joffrey. So, I'm going to be jumping all around. When Joffrey before he became king, there is an episode where Sansa and Joffrey were in a meadow and Arya was sparring with the butcher's boy. And Joffrey is a pussy. I mean, I can't even say pussy. He's a pair of balls. Literally. Pair of balls. And I say balls because balls are weak. And the wind blows in the wrong way and they tuck up in you, right? You know what I mean, guys. Anyways, Joffrey is a little bitch. I disliked him from that moment on. Then he becomes king. And he beheads Ned Stark. He treats Sansa like a piece of shit. I never wanted to brutally make violence to a child before until I watched Game of Thrones. Like, seriously, I've watched Omen. I've watched a lot of horror movies with children being evil. I have never hated a kid before as much as I did when I seen Joffrey. I'm like, this motherfucker needs to die. And when he does die at his wedding, I was fucking cheering. I'm like, kill that motherfucker! Suffer! You know, like, I took a look at myself. I'm like, oh my God, I'm rooting for violence against a 12-year-old. But anyways, yeah, that section of the series, I was aggravated. I was upset. I felt so bad for the Stark family. And I was super upset that Ned Stark was gone. Now we fast forward into the middle of it. We see that the eldest son is, gathering forces and becoming this strong force to be reckoned with. And we see this redhead that comes into the video, into the series. And I really was intrigued by the whole storyline. And I enjoyed the whole mythical magic stuff. I didn't realize that was going to be in this. I really enjoyed that side of things. I enjoyed the witchcraft and some of the religious aspects. I also enjoyed Daenerys, the dragon mother. I loved her. And that was one of the characters that I rooted for from the get-go. When I first met Daenerys, that was a character that I was like, I love her. I think she's going to be amazing. I am so excited to see where she goes with this. And then when she becomes into her own power and she owns the Mother of Dragons, where she walks into the flames and then comes out a badass bitch, I was like, fuck yes. Dragons? Hell yes, dragons. My heart was ripped out when the first dragon died. I was so upset that my eyes welled with tears. All I wanted to do was see these dragons mass murder millions of people. But anyways, I know I'm jumping back and forth. I loved her. She was one of my favorite characters. And then we get to meet Jon Stark. This is by far my most favorite friggin' character in the series. Jon Stark, selfless motherfucker who gets robbed. I mean, seriously robbed in this entire series, in the entire series. But really good show. So if you're on the fence about it, definitely go and check it out. But yeah, the death of the one of the Baratheon brothers. I think it was the youngest brother who, had his own army and was going to take it from Joffrey, and his other brother, the elder brother, was there, and he had his witch bitch impregnated with some kind of craziness that murdered him. I went, what the fuck? Like, she gives birth to this like ghost creature, and it murders the brother of the potential king. That was insane in itself. These are moments in this franchise that stuck with me. The love that you see between, and it's disgusting, but the love that you see between Cersei and Jaime Lannister, it's insane. The amount of love, and you see the grow, and you see how much Jaime Lannister actually loves his sister. Disgusting, but yeah. As we went through the series, there were some in the seasons that were just like, okay, whatever. Why did we have to know about that, right? I loved getting to know each of the Stark family members: Arya, Sansa, Brandon. I really felt bad for the youngest brother, but I enjoyed that aspect. I enjoyed when they took off and went to each of the family members, so you can see where they started, where they were becoming, and then in the end where they are now, and how strong these characters were. They grew into their power. For example, Sansa, all she wanted was to be a queen. She wanted to be a lady. She wanted to be taken care of, and she still wanted that in the end. But to see the strength that she has created from the trials and tribulations she has endured as a young woman back in that time, I can't even believe. Yeah, they hopefully a lot of this stuff is not real about the age of consent and all this other happy horseshit that was going on inside Game of Thrones. Now, I liked seeing where Arya became a young little girl, tomboy, into the powerful, strong woman that she is, adventurous that she is towards the end. I don't want to make this video too long, but I love the Stark family. The Lannisters, I always wanted them to die violently. The big son of a bitch that Xerxes and the Maester made out of, I can't remember his name, but he was a knight. That's a big son of a bitch. That's a giant zombie. I was completely surprised when they murdered the Prince of Dorne, one of the princes of Dorne, in that match where he was fighting for Tywin Lannister, I believe that's his name, Peter Dinklage. And I was blown away. I was yelling at the TV, basically, like, what the fuck are you doing? Stop taunting this big motherfucker, because he is going to fuck you, and not in the fun way. And I was right. I was so right that I was angry that I was right, because I wanted to see him win. The whole Tywin Lannister situation was insane. I really cheered for Joffrey's death. And seeing the setup of what happened with Sansa and that whole thing, yeah, I seen that whole setup. Littlefinger is a dick. But yeah, insane, crazy amount of violence, which is awesome. And the battles. This is a TV show that I didn't go in thinking that I was going to love it like I did Supernatural. The battles in that show had me on edge. It really did. Like, I was almost biting my fingernails to see the outcomes of the battles that were happening within the series. As we go down and we find the Unsullied, oh my God, these guys have no penises? Like, what? The Unsullied, I really love the Unsullied. Grey Worm was by far one of my favorites in the series, and it broke my heart to see in the end how much hate he had towards John, which I understand because of the loyalty and the love that he has for his queen. And I get that. I definitely get that. But the sacrifices that John Stark has made was to kill the one thing he fully loved. And it felt really bad for John Stark because everything he has loved has died. Everything. Everything. To me, he's the only one in the series that has lost everything and hasn't been. Yeah, I don't know. He just lost everything. Everything he loved, everything he did, his family, lost it all. Which sucked. I really felt John was robbed in the entire series. I love the fact that we see Daenerys and her dragons and how far she's become from this girl that was being assaulted by her brother on a regular basis, who married her off to Dothrakian king, and she was sold like a piece of fucking meat. Like, she was nothing. To see her go into some powerful shit by becoming the mother of dragons, needless to say, I was super upset to see what happens when power corrupts. I was. Because to see her go from where she was to where she became and what she became her very own enemy. She became a tyrant. She wanted to free people who we don't even know if they wanted to be free. Oh. But yes, at the end where John had to make the hard decision of his life to kill the one true queen and somebody that he truly loved. When I found out that those two were related, I was so upset. I'm like, oh my God. But when those two got it on, I was like, oh, they're going to have adorable babies. These are a great couple. Then we find out that she is his auntie. And I'm just like, you just fucked your aunt. This is disgusting. But I still wanted to see them grow, not like intimate. So when it came time to see how John was disgusted by what has happened, but he still loved her with all of his heart, and that he was so loyal to her, the amount of loss that Jon Stark had in this series, or Jon Snow, I should say, or Aegon Targaryen, like blows my mind, the amount of loss. And let's get to the ending where they win the big battle against the dead, which was really cool. I love the fact that Arya was the savior of that. It's insane at the amount of shit that they've gone through up until that point. And for John to be murdered by his people, by his group of people that he stood to stand by and swore brotherhood to, because he helped an entire group of people survive the winter by bringing them in and over or under the wall. And the last war is where we see a lot of death, and you see where the mother of dragons has lost her shit. The bell is ringing. I understand that her right-hand woman was beheaded, but there was tens and thousands of innocent people down there. And the fact that she did what she did, you're already seeing that she was going to be no different than Xerxes, no different than Joffrey. She may not have been as brutal as Joffrey or Xerxes with torture and everything, but you can see she was just another tyrant. She let the power go to her head. And in the very last war, when they win, the annihilated King's Landing, and seeing how John had to murder the one that he loved, that was sad. And to see the dragon, you know, one dragon left out of all three dragons, that was sad as well. Knowing, I really wish things would have happened differently for John, because he was the savior out of this whole franchise. And the fact that he had to assassinate a person he loved, his queen, the one he bent a knee to, the one that he was loyal to, and then totally get fucked in the end, gets arrested, thrown in jail, and then is told, sorry, all of your heroics, everything you have done is nothing because you murdered this queen. Now you're going to be stripped of everything and sent to the wall. I understand that he assassinated the queen, but if he didn't, what would be going on? I understand that they had to make an example, but it was still bullshit. He got robbed, like totally fucking robbed, from the point of getting to the wall by, you know, what Ned Stark sent him to the wall, knowing who the fuck he was. Then his own brothers turning against him, murdering his ass. Well, even before that, he had to murder the redhead beauty wildling that he fell in love with during that war, and he didn't technically do it. The little bastard shit that murdered her with the bow and arrow, who ended up stabbing John in the fucking heart. That little dickbag. I'm glad he died too. I love the fact that they brought in cannibals, though. That was a great touch. But to see all the heartbreak and torment that he went through just in the end to be fucked. I understand he wanted to live free. I understand that. I get that. But to totally get... And Brandon Stark? What? Brandon Stark as king? As anything? I really couldn't stand his character. I could not stand his character. I could not stand the look on his face, especially when he became the fucking three-eyed crow. What the fuck is a three-eyed crow? Anyway, the look on his face, I couldn't stand it. To me, he seemed very smug. Like, I knew this was going to happen. All these people died for me so I can be king. That's the kind of look that I seen on his face every time I looked at his face. And to know that he became king because they voted for him to become king, he shouldn't have been king. I'm sorry. Not at all. I know John didn't want to become king and he took on the roles of being a king, but I think he would have been the best choice. I understand Grey Worm and his anger for the death of his queen and what he wanted done, but John suffered a lot. A lot. I understand Grey Worm suffered too. But he was completely fucking robbed. I was angry. I was literally angry at the fact that John was sent to the wall. And then I'm like, wait, isn't he Aegon Targaryen? So technically Jon Stark is already at the fucking wall. This is a totally new character, if you think about it. So he's already done his time, so he can come back as, you know, Aegon with the wildlings and, you know, grab the throne again. But I see also that John was happy because all he wanted was to be free. He wanted things to be okay. He wanted peace. He didn't want the wars to keep going. And that is why he killed his love or lover. And I understand that. But I'm still angry at the fact that he was fucking robbed. Anyways, I don't want to go on. I can go on more and more and more about this, but I don't want to. It's already been 23 minutes. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it. Definitely do. Thank you for all that you do on my videos and content and my live content. My favorite characters out of this whole series, I will have to say, is the Mother of Dragons. She became one of my favorites. Jon Snow, numero uno of my favorites. I loved Grey Worm, and I loved seeing the growth of Jaime Lannister. Yes, I loved seeing the growth of Jaime Lannister. Maybe I'll do another video, a shorter one about Jaime Lannister and that whole rigmarole that went on. But I did like seeing that growth, and Jaime Lannister did become semi-favorite. Not a total favorite, but a semi-favorite as he grew. I wanted that motherfucker to die as well. Xerxes, I'm glad that bitch got crushed by rocks. Glad. Crushed. Joffrey, sad to see that the young brother who became king killed himself because his love died. And maybe I'll do another video and bring that stuff in as well. But anyways, thank you guys for listening to my rambles. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a like. Make sure you subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Share this to your friends. Huge shout out to the Horde. Thank you for doing what you do. I greatly appreciate you. Huge shout out to Camp Facer. Thank you for your continued support and awesomeness. Deadwalk, thank you so very much for all of the insight and information that you've given. And all of the awesome advertising material. Yeah, you are great at that, Deadwalk. Seriously, really great at that. Garbage Pail Queen, thank you again for watching the videos and supporting me. You are an amazing soul and continue doing your badassery. Seriously, girl, keep rocking that shit. Thank you again, guys, and I will slash you all later. Bye.